Well, I have a story.
Yeah, you do.
I have a legendary tale. Usually, if I'm telling a story about a person or party, I'll give them the benefit of withholding their name. But that's not going to happen today, because this company...
I would want everyone else to know as well.
This company fucked me. We're in the New Boys space here.
New Boys HQ.
It's lovely. But what's not lovely is when a moving company screws you over. A company called PODS. Their business model is really great. Instead of you having to bring your stuff to a storage container, they bring the storage container to you. And then when the storage container's full, they pick it up and they take it to your new house. And then when it's all empty, they come and they pick it up and they take it away. Genius business model. So we set this thing up. It shows up. We load all of our stuff into it. And when you go on the website for this place, they give you like this little checklist, right? And one of the things is when your container's full, call us so you can schedule to move it. And that's all it says. Call us when you're ready. So the container's full. We clean the house. Everything's done. Everything's looking great. Fine. We go to my girlfriend's parents' house to stay with them for a couple of days in between. Wake up in the morning and I call to say, hey, everything's full. You guys should move it in a couple of days here. And they basically just laughed in my face. You can't schedule that for that day. You've got to schedule it for this day that's like 17 days from now.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, well, that's not going to work. And they're like, well, we require like a 7-day advance notice. And I was like, my initial email said 3 days. Yeah. And I'm giving you 3 days notice. And you're giving me a day that's 17 days away. So please help me with the math there. I'm on the phone with this lady who has zero compassion whatsoever.
For sure.
For my situation. And I'm like, well, what do you expect me to do? Like, what help can your company provide me? What resources do you have for customers in this situation? And the answers to all those questions was just give you the date that we told you originally. Ugh. This is what we're gonna do. We can't move in. We're in this brand new place, sleeping on air mattresses. This is where the story starts to get really bad, okay? So scheduling conflicts, whatever. But now we're talking about a third party coming into the situation and money's getting involved because this container is sitting in a driveway at my old house I no longer live in.
Where new people are.
New people are moving into this house and they can't use their driveway or their garage. Yeah. And the county where that house is, it is illegal to park in the street overnight. So it's not like, oh, well, they can just park in the street. So the landlord wants to charge a daily fee for having the container sit there until it moves. When we ask for forgiveness because we were such good tenants and this isn't our fault, they say, well, we're actually not going to decide anything until the container moves, and the amount that you will pay will depend on how much the new tenants complain. So they just put us at the mercy of these new people who we know nothing about. Obviously they want it gone, but we don't know if they're like vindictive people or if they're passive people. We have no idea. I'm like eternally in the doghouse because I feel like I screwed up, even though it really wasn't my fault.
Yeah, that's fair.
Finally, after like 10 days of calling every day to ask if there was a cancellation, somebody sends me an article that says that this exact same location has done this to like a handful of people all at the same time. So it wasn't just like a freak incident. And there was another couple that was moving from Minneapolis to Oregon. They were moving to Portland.
Oh, man.
And the same thing happened to them.
Wow.
But instead of their stuff being across town at an old house, it was across the country at an old house. Brutal. And then the article also went on to say that these people were compensated. So then there was a silver lining. Yeah. Because previously, every time I talked to somebody, I would ask, is there anyone else I can talk to? Is there some kind of like manager or supervisor that I can talk to?
They just
can you transfer me to the corporate office? Yeah. And they would just dodge it. So I don't know what to do. I don't know how to like escalate my issue. Yep. Because they're like walling me off. Yeah. They're trying to get me off the phone and appease me.
Sure.
Finally, one day, I call in to ask for the cancellation. And when the person finishes up with me, I say, is there anyone that you could transfer me to? And for some reason, this lady was just...
Sure.
This lady was just like, oh, you want to talk to a supervisor? Okay. And just puts me right on hold. And I'm like, finally, thank you. So I talk to this guy for like an hour. I tell him the whole story of what's happened, and he's like speechless. He's like, wow, man, that is horrible. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
And then he like takes all this information down. He asks me all these questions. We do the super long questionnaire.
Oh, I can't do the general.
He gives me the name of a person, a specific name of a person who is going to become responsible for my situation, and tells me that that person is going to contact me within 48 hours, and that if I don't hear anything from them in that amount of time, that I should call back and ask for them. 48 hours goes by, no email, no call.
Oh no.
So I call back in, I talk to the representative, I say, here's my incident number, and here's the person that I'm supposed to talk to. And they say, okay, and they put me on hold for like 10 minutes. And then after they come back from the hold,
Man.
they just say that the person that I'm supposed to talk to isn't there. And then he proceeds to go through the exact same questionnaire as the first person. So he's asking, I'm like retelling this story to a second guy back at square one. He comes back from holding just to tell me, yeah, you're gonna have to call back later. So I'm super frustrated, hang up with that guy. I don't hear anything the next day. And the other thing I forgot, the first guy told me 48 hours, right? Then the second person I called after 48 hours said, oh, well, actually it's 3 to 5 days that they're going to contact you. And today is day 3. So I said, okay.
What?
So I waited until day 5.
48 more hours.
Yep. Nobody called me on day 5. Big surprise. And then I called back in the next day and asked for the person. And they said, okay, I'll transfer you to their extension. And it was just a voicemail. So I just left a message, an angry message. Finally, one day while I'm at work, I get a random call from a Florida number. And the guy says, oh, by the way, at this point, the container has already come.
Okay.
They've stalled me for so long that the container date actually finally came.
That's amazing.
They dropped it off at my house. You know, we unloaded everything the first night, got everything inside the house. It was a huge mess. So we get the call from the guy and he says he's responsible for all of the cases based out of this similar location. And so basically I have to grill him and find out, you know, are you going to pay all this stuff that we got charged by our old landlord? And eventually I get him to say, yeah, but we have to like, you know, present it to him a certain way to like prove it in the eyes of the company or whatever before they compensate us. The empty container was taken away. So that's all done. Still not over yet because I still have to resolve it with that guy.
I was going to say,
that part isn't done yet.
Yeah.
But now I need to tell the most epic part of the story. And that is the story of the day that the container left the old house and came to the new house.
Well, this sounds like a pretty simple task that you are used to doing.
Yes. So just imagine how easy it should be for the container to just be picked up and moved from one house to
their
another.
primary job.
It's half of what they do.
Literally the basis of the business. Okay. All right. So let me retell for you the amazing journey that I went on. So the date was June 14th, 2017. This is the day that the full container is supposed to finally be taken from the old house to our new house. So this is a glorious day for man.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay? Because we still haven't resolved any of the situation, but at least we're getting our shit. So this is an exciting day. Okay, what the company does is the night before they deliver, they give you an automated call saying it's estimated between 11 and 2 p.m. the next day. So I got that call, so I knew it was coming. And then you also get a call from the driver when he is on his way to pick up the container. I get a call from the driver at about 11 in the morning, and this guy has a Brooklyn accent.
Oh yes,
he says, "Hey, how you doing, man? My name's Terry. I'm gonna be picking up your container. Headed towards the location right now. Are you gonna be there?" And I say, "No, actually, that's my old house. I don't live there anymore. It's a whole thing. I'm at the new house." He's like, all right, I'll see you in a little bit then. I'll call you again when I pick it up. Great, this guy's giving me good service.
Terry.
Wonderful. Yeah, Terry. Let me tell you right now, Terry from Brooklyn is the man.
He's the hero.
He is a hero.
All right.
This man is a hero.
Yay.
So he calls me again. I have to leave for work on this day. I leave. I'm about 10 minutes into my drive to work. I'm about halfway there. And I get another call from Terry. And he says, hey, so I'm at the house here with the container. And there's a black Kia Soul parked behind it. I can't pick it up. I can't move the container. So some idiot at my old house has decided to park their car behind it.
Oh no!
And then he proceeds to say, I knocked on the door, I rang the doorbell,
oh my God.
I walk around the house, no answer, so I don't know what to do. And I'm freaking out, right? Mm-hmm. Because I told the landlord the specific day.
Yeah.
So the landlord knows that this is the day that the container is supposed to be picked up. Yeah, so you would think he would let them know, and this poor guy is trying to park in the driveway so that he doesn't get a ticket, and there's not even enough driveway behind this thing for him to fit in the driveway. So he would have been parked sideways in the driveway. So I'm losing my shit. By this point, I have pulled over on the side of the road on my drive to work because I can't focus on the drive.
Yep.
You're just seeing red at this point?
Yes, and I'm trying to figure out if I need to race over to my old house and say screw it to my work shift to try to move this car with my bare hands. So I'm pleading to this man, Terry. You don't understand what I've been through, man. What can I do? Is there anything we can do? Please help me. And this man, he said, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back to my truck. I'm gonna call my manager. I'll see what he says, and then I'll call you back. And I say, okay, thank you. As soon as I hang up with Terry, I call the property manager and I say, listen to me right now. There is a man trying to move that container out of the driveway, and there is someone's car parked behind it. So you need to call everyone that lives in that house right now and move that car, or it's gonna be there until August.
Yeah.
Because if they would have had to reschedule me, it would have been like a month and a half in advance. So everyone loses in that situation.
Yeah, for sure.
They can't use their driveway. They charge me more back rent. I don't get my stuff. No one wins.
Yep.
It's bad for everyone. I tell him that, and he's like, oh, okay. And I just hang up on him.
As you should.
Just about then, Terry calls me back.
Okay.
And he says, all right, so here's what we're gonna do. I talked to my manager, and this is what we're willing to do for you.
Not good at this.
I gotta get gas for the truck, and then for the machine, 2 different kinds of gas. I'll go around the corner, I'll take my time, and then when I'm done,
Dude, yay, Terry.
I'm gonna drive back by the house. I'll do a courtesy drive-by for you. And if the car's moved, I'll pick up the pot. But if it's not moved,
The accent is on point.
then
I know, your Brooklyn accent's amazing.
then there's nothing I can do. So you got about 10 minutes or so. You do whatever you gotta do, and hopefully you can get the car moved. And it sounds like he has very little faith that anything is gonna happen.
Sure, which makes sense.
But still, he's giving me the courtesy of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have just said fuck it and drove away, not even called. So he goes to do that. I hang up with him. I call the landlord back. And I say, what good news do you have for me?
Yeah.
What can you tell me? And he says, okay, so I got a hold of one guy, and he's at work, but he says he knows whose car it is, and that guy should be home.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, you need to call that guy nonstop for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. Hang up on the property manager. And at this point, I have reached the parking lot of my workplace. All this is passed in like 10 minutes.
Sure.
While I'm driving to work. So I've arrived at my place of work. There's about 10 minutes until my shift starts, and I'm about 25 minutes from the old house. So there's no way I can intercede. I'm just at the mercy of the other parties. So I'm sitting in my car, just staring out into the sky. Just pleading to the universe that this guy will take off his headphones and quit jerking off or wake up or something so that he can go move his fucking car so I can get my stuff that I've been without for 2.5 weeks.
Yep.
Waiting for my phone to ring to find out my fate. And finally, after about 10 minutes, my phone rings and it's Terry again. And I just pick it up and I say hello. And he says, you know how lucky you are? He said, I don't know what you did, but you did it. I drove back by and the car wasn't there, so I picked it up. I got the pot. I'm on my way.
Oh my god.
And I was like, hallelujah.
Fucking Terry.
Yeah.
What a guy.
And I was overjoyed. I was elated. I don't know how it happened, but I was like, okay, all right, just call me when you get to the new place and let me know that it's there and we're good. And he was like, all right, I'll do it. And so he hangs up and I start packing up my stuff and going into work, and I'm literally shaking from adrenaline.
Sure, absolutely.
I've been on an insane emotional roller coaster in the last like half hour.
Yeah.
Also the first half hour of my day.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
You know, pretty
So
much
now
straight
would
from
not
waking
die.
up, I went right into this shitstorm.
Yeah.
It's not over yet, boys.
Oh no.
I punch in, I start my shift, and I get another call from Terry. And he says, all right, so I'm at the new house here, and this alleyway is really narrow, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna fit the container in the back driveway where you want it. I'm so done at this point.
Sure.
And then he starts telling me like all these different options and how he can do it. And he's like, you know, I could just drop it on the front lawn, but I gotta have you sign a form, and you gotta be here for that. So if you wanna come meet me, and I'm like, shit, I'm just started a work shift, I can't leave, I can't do that. That's not gonna work. And he's like, all right. So I'll go back there in the alley and I'll call you again. And I'll let you know what we can do.
Okay.
Another like 5 minutes later, he calls me again. He's like, all right. So we're back here in the driveway, right? Let me pause for a second and give everyone a visual of what my back driveway looks like. My back driveway is 2 cars wide, but only 1 car long. It's 2 cars side by side. And right at the back of the driveway is a 6-foot chain link fence. And there's an opening in the chain link fence, but it's on the side. So this means that if the guy drops the container right in line, we're not gonna be able to get anything out of it. He doesn't want to do that because we're only gonna have like 4 feet of clearance, and there's like couches and stuff in there, so
Yeah.
you're not gonna have enough room to get it
Yeah.
out. So Terry tells me, well, I can turn it diagonally so that the door is facing your gate. But then I run the risk of overlapping onto your neighbor's driveway, and if your neighbor doesn't like it touching his driveway, he can call it and we gotta come get it. So what ends up happening to close out the
Johnny.
story, I basically tell Terry, I say, Terry, you've already made my year by doing what you've done for me today, and you just put that container down in the most legal, lovely way that you can possibly think of. And I'm going to trust that that's the best way it could possibly be done.
Yeah, because at this point he's shown his competence and his thoughtfulness.
Yes.
Okay.
So I told him, we'll deal with the 4-foot window. I'll cut the fence if I have to. I'll deal with the landlord. He's a cool guy. Terry put one corner of the thing right on the neighbor's driveway line, and the other back corner was right on the alley line.
So he like perfected
So
this.
like he nailed it to give us the most clearance as possible to come out and into the gate, and it was fucking perfect.
So he knows what he's doing.
This guy gets every commendation
Terry is
an
the
award
hero, yeah.
This
possible.
yeah, this episode is dedicated to Terry.
This episode is dedicated to Terry. I know his last name, but I'm not going to say it for protection reasons.
We won't do that.
But I
If you're listening,
the
Terry,
rivet stick
I
is
want-
better.
if you're
I
listening,
want-
you know who you are.
yeah, I want everyone listening to this to know that I cannot say anything good about this company.
and the Trooper shot
but
is better too.
That in all of my reviews and follow-ups with this company to get my compensation, that driver will be getting the highest commendations possible.
Yeah, and it would have been too easy to just drive away.
Oh, it would have been so
like-
it would have been so easy.
Just like giving up, like calling it a day. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
like
can't
he
do
could have
it.
just said like, oh, well, you know, in the fine print it says that if there's something
Sure,
blocking, like
totally.
we don't even have to stop. Especially if he knocked on the door and no one answered.
Yep, see ya.
But not Terry.
So there was an article about
Yes,
published
this
somewhere.
This
that,
PODS location was in local news a few weeks ago.
That's impressive.
like okay.
Like Twin Cities news, because they did this to that couple traveling from Minneapolis to Portland, and then like 5 other couples. And when somebody sent me the link, I thought it was going to be about me.
That would have been amazing.
Because it
Because
said,
of how
because it
extraordinary it
said
is that it happened to you.
Minneapolis couple fighting Brooklyn Center
Oh,
PODS
yeah,
location,
well, and
and I
you're
was
right.
like, that's me. I'm just glad that it's going to be
stuff.
over soon.
You were describing it before as like somehow trucks from another location can't pick up the
Oh, yeah,
pods from
yeah.
this
Trust
location.
me, I included that in my post customer survey.
Okay.
I lit that thing up.
yeah.
Good thing they had a high character maximum.
Because like Austin asked, like, okay,
Yeah.
so your location can't pick this thing up. Can another location's truck?
Right. That was the
this up.
first thing I asked when I initially called to schedule it. But yeah, when the person initially was like, oh yeah, you want to move it on the 1st, but we're going to move it on the 14th. And I was like, well,
LOL.
okay, I get that your location is struggling and that your schedule is bad. How do the schedules look at the other locations? And she was just like, oh, well, drivers from one location can't pick up containers that originate from another location.
Yeah. Like
That's
what?
the dumbest fucking rule
Yeah, that's
that I can
insane.
think of.
How?
And they're like, well, the drivers can only drive a certain amount of time in a day, which translates to they're not going to pay anyone overtime,
Yeah, correct.
even to help out customers who got fucked
I
over.
have to-
That's just a dumb rule.
and that they wouldn't even consider an exception.
because of their situation.
Yeah. It sounds like this had happened all at once to a whole bunch of different people, and they were just like, okay, well, we're just gonna
doing
fuck
something
all of
wrong.
them.
Well, according to the
Yeah.
news article, 2 drivers at that location were fired, and then that was the reason why the schedule got pushed so far behind.
Yeah.
Because they were short true drivers, and then the drivers can only drive a certain number of hours in the day without being paid overtime, and the company's not going to pay them overtime.
Yep.
So then that pushes the
they
schedule
got to
back at an exponential rate
Yep.
for people who are already scheduled. And then you combine the fact that Memorial Day is like the most popular time in the year to move. So it's like busy moving season.
Sure.
And then they fired people.
Here's a crazy idea: hire temps.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
You know,
Fix this problem.
obviously you need a lot of certifications to use that machine and everything.
Yeah.
All right. Next week on the show,
no more
no more pod
no
stories.
more pod stories.
Nope.
I got it all out.